I don't know if it's because society has put the standard for men in hell.
Men, I need you to focus on character before possessions.
The most dangerous thing I think a man can say is, I answer to nobody. Go and buy a pumice stone and scrub your foot back. Please. Go to the nail shop.
Hello and welcome to the To My Sisters podcast. I'm Renee.
And I'm Courtney, and we are your online sisters and hosts of the To My Sisters podcast.
Now, we are all about the wellness, growth and development of a community of sisters across the world.
And in today's episode, we are venturing into unknown territory to us, and we are addressing this episode to our brothers, to the men of this world of various careers, classes,
to
ages.
The boys.
We are about to have a conversation where we say the things that we want to say to men, to our brothers, men in our circles, men who we know in our communities. Yep. I don't even know how to intro this one, but this one basically came from the fact that we know some of you men, first of all, let me be all up in your eardrums. I know some of you guys actually listen to us.
Hey guys.
And you enjoy the To My Sisters podcast, and we enjoy you being a part of the community, even though it is a sisterhood. So we thought, since you're going to be here and we know the sisters will listen to this as well, and we actually want to know their opinions.
Absolutely.
So drop those comments like it's hot. And head over to our Instagram to let us know what you would want to say to your brothers. But we wanted to open the conversation with things we want to say and why we want to say them. But before we get into the firing line, and welcome to our channel if you're new, because I know some of y'all, firstly, community guidelines. We're respectful around here, okay? So even if you don't agree with us, respect yourself.
Yeah, respect yourself before you come crazy.
Okay. Let's get into it. You know what the subject of this dilemma is?
No.
Oh, first of all, ding, ding, ding.
Dilemma.
But you know what the subject of this dilemma is? My mum is bad mind. I need some advice on something. I want to move back home for my last year of uni and commute.
Yes, girl.
It will help me save work and help with opportunities in design and arts happening back home.
Okay.
My 3 worries are trying to be a part of the uni's basketball team, having to go in every day is a 30-minute journey to my course, and my mother. My mum is the type of person that will find a problem with anything. No matter how perfect or how nice someone is trying to be, she will have an issue. Nothing can make her happy. I have a light and a vision that I need to make true, and my mum sucks that out of me. My sister stayed home, and the stress of my mum caused her to drop out of uni.
Oh my goodness.
I had COVID and had to stay locked away in my studio until my isolation was up, and my mum made a big deal about me being alone for Christmas. She wanted me home as a mum would. After isolation, I came down, but the vibes were all off. Fast forward, I'm home. I didn't cook. In fairness, I'm a student, so if I'm home, I don't want to cook for myself. I'd offer, she'd say no, but in the same breath complain that I don't cook or do anything for her. I'm too young and pretty to be stressed like this. As I said, I'm 22. Okay. Now, sis went on to explain more, but I feel like it's too personal for us to put in this dilemma. So it's not your business, but this part of it is. So.
I love that. Again, community guidelines. We actually respect you guys.
There
so
you
we're
go.
not going to be out here airing your business like, other folks on the internet. First of all, we'll deal with the first 2 issues insofar as basketball and timing. I feel like it's a com-si, com-sa type issue insofar as you have to weigh the cost of anything, really. So joining the basketball team, girl, go ahead. Sporty. Did someone say LeBron James? Michaela? I think it's one of those things where you need to figure out what your timetable might be like and then try and factor in. One of the things that, in terms of like when I'm thinking back to university, it's been a while now. But even now, it's really important to make time for things that you're good at and you like doing and you enjoy doing outside of your course. So if you can, definitely take up the basketball. It's so worthwhile. And that like sense of sportsmanship and camaraderie that comes from being a part of a team, boy, definitely, if you can, do it. If not, then it might be a thing where, you need to pare back a little bit and focus on your studies. But girl, like you said, you're young, you're pretty, you're 22. So please try and figure it into your schedule somehow. Insofar as the commute, I ain't even gonna lie to you, 30 minutes, it sounds not that bad.
That's
That's a bus.
Yeah.
So maybe you're used to like maybe walking or something, or just being super, super close. But a 30-minute commute, that does not, I'm not even like, I don't even blink at that, to be honest with you. I think it's just about, you know, making sure that your routine is on, you know, par and on job. But I don't think that commute is actually too much for you to be stressed. I've heard of, and I've been through commutes that are like an hour plus. So 30 minutes, not that deep. Now, coming back to the crux of the matter, the bad mind mother, the
problem number 3,
the Grinchette of the household. This is
that's somebody's mom.
This is a sticky situation because your mom is your mom. You can't change your mama, can you?
The lady of the house.
She's the lady of the house, and it is quite difficult because there are very, very distinct cultural and generational differences when it comes to, you know, the mother-daughter dynamic. And if you do think that it is something that will impact your mental health and your capacity to finish your course being at home, I wouldn't risk it. There are some relationships and some dynamics that actually thrive with you being away from them.
I can testify.
Same. I love my parents and I love my family, but resonation, is that even a word? It resonates quite deeply insofar as sometimes what you actually need is your sense of space, your sense of bearings and your own environment to really, really thrive. And from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like, even though you were isolated, you know, in your studio for COVID and XYZ, it doesn't sound like this impacted you too much. Obviously there, you know, maybe more to it, but having that freedom, insofar as like being by yourself, obviously weigh up the cost. Is it cost effective? Because that's a big thing to consider as well. One of the main reasons that a lot of people stay at home, and rightly so, is because it's actually not financially expedient. So it's definitely up to you. But if you can, based on the information that we've heard and based on the fact that, you know, you actually have the track record of your sister being at home and actually dropping out, that's very extreme.
That's very telling.
Very, very telling and very extreme. And that is something that actually needs to be dealt with within your family as well, insofar as how do we create more conducive environments in the home and within the family structure such that we don't have these kind of things happening. And I think personally that might be something you want to do with a little bit of distance environmentally. And the thing about space is space can often dictate power. So the fact that, you know, it's your family house, no disrespect to mom, but mum owns the house or has been seen as the head of the house, or like some part, you know, ownership of, you know, she owns that space.
She's a leader in the home.
Precisely. So for her to be making comments and all that kind of things, it's very natural because that is the space that she's, you know, used to, and the space that she knows how to dominate. It's very difficult for you to now feel like you have some sense of individuality and some sense of, you know, yourself. And this is a really formative time for you. So it's really important that you actually do have many neutral spaces where you can actually come into yourself and dominate and really create an environment that's conducive to your growth. And from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like just yet this is the space to do that. And this is not to negate the fact that, you know, you need to actually build a relationship with your mum where you're able to address these things. But it sounds like it will take time, and I'm not sure that you have enough time to mend that relationship before you decide to move back home. So I would say, girl, if you can, get your own space. But if you can't, then that's when, you know, crisis aversion starts, right? That's when you have to actively start doing the really difficult things of not just engaging your mother in conversation, but also having more holistic family engagements as well. The scary thing of like, let's sit down and talk as a family and really reflect. But yeah, I've rambled.
No, but you were saying the things. That's very true.
Man,
I think we've both experienced the being in a home, not feeling entirely comfortable or feeling like it's conducive for your growth and the vision that you have for your life. Like you said, you've got a light, you've got a vision. You have to protect that, and wisdom protects that. And you have two options here. You stay, you stay outside of the home and you let, like you said, distance make the heart grow fonder. And yes, it might impact your pocket, right? But sometimes the money's worth it. Sometimes the money, paying the rent, paying the bills, whatever it may be, sometimes that is actually worth the peace of mind. However, if you're really tight and it's looking like of all the options, going back home is what I need to do. I need to go back home. You're going to have to use wisdom to squash that beef.
Yeah.
And to actually maneuver around your mom and have conversations where you gain her favor, you gain her trust, you gain her love. Obviously, she loves you already, but in more of a compassionate, tender way, less of the mum being aggressive. To then have these wise conversations that say, I don't like when you did that, you know, and I love you and I want to be able to enjoy us together. Or it might even be you initiating nice things for your mum. I can even testify to the fact that when I went to uni, I was so glad to be away from my home, right? Because things were not going right. I had a very tumultuous relationship with my family members, particularly my mother. And I would say I definitely had mummy issues. And it was one of the, and I also had that eldest daughter syndrome. We have a whole episode on that, and resentment towards that position. And when I left, I felt the freedom and I was so happy. Yeah. I didn't really miss my family. And for the 3 years, it was just a rest.
Yeah.
And then the fact that I had to go and move back home was very upsetting to me. I came back home now. And a lot had kind of changed, right? People's attitudes towards me, of course, my siblings, 3 years older, my mum, 3 years deeper into her career, like a lot of stuff had changed for them, had changed for me. And I felt like I was still struggling to have those much needed conversations. However, fast forward a couple years of having to work on that relationship because we live in such a small space together, I realized, oh, I've misunderstood you. And the more I take time to actually understand your journey and understand what has shaped your perspectives, I understand why you behave the way you do. And also there was an age issue. And I know you're 22, but I don't know how old your mum is. Your mum might be going through menopause. That is a big transition. I don't think a lot of people talk about that enough, especially with women who have had their kids a bit older. So the kids are most likely maybe going through adolescence, puberty, and also just the transitions of adulthood whilst they are going through that season of their life of having menopause.
Yeah.
It is not pretty. All those hormones clashing in a household, I can attest firsthand.
It's much.
It's vicious.
There's a lot going on.
It's vicious. And so sometimes you need to have that understanding as well of the same way sometimes when you're on your menstrual cycle, you're going crazy. The same way she might be literally going crazy and dealing with that change herself. I don't know how old your mum is, and that's not an excuse for everyone or an excuse at all, but I think it's something to consider. With my mum, it came down to, okay, you know what? I love you. We fixed our beef, but I still, for the sake of my vision and what I'm trying to build, I need a new level of independence. So this November, I moved out and moved in with you. And when I went back home for Christmas a few weeks ago, I was so happy to see my family. Aww. And genuinely, like, I ended the year of 2021. And even like, I was thinking about this last night, genuinely so thankful for the fact that my relationship with my mum and my relationship with my sister had been repaired. And I actually look forward to talking to these people. And like, I love them. Like, and it's not that I didn't love them before. I loved them, but the love was really like, it was thickly covered in pain and like the bitterness of the past, right? And now I was seeing them through this lens of like forgiveness, but that required different distance. My mum moved to Scotland for her career. Not me telling you everyone's location. Can you imagine? My mum moved to another part of the UK for her career, and my sister moved to another part of England for her uni, and she finally moved out. And it was just me being this free agent roaming around, and it made me realize you being away is actually so good for all of us.
Yeah.
So good for all of us, because no one's in anyone's business too deep, because everyone is also passionate about what they're doing, you know? So those are really your two options. I personally, and I don't think Renee can tell you what to do. However, I do resonate with what you're saying in terms of if you can see the blueprint in what has happened in your sister's life, it might not be worth taking the risk for you.
Yeah.
It really might not be. If you know this is going to derail me, I'm going to end up where my sister ended up, and I don't want that. It's not worth it. Fork out the extra money, get an extra job, make it work living outside of home. And as much as your mum might want you to come back home, just tell her, soz, uni says I can't. Sometimes you have to say those kind of lies. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. But anyway, sis, we are wishing you the absolute best. And we're also praying for restoration in your family, man. Honestly. And just like repaired relationships in any form. And we hope that you do amazing at uni as you go into your next year.
On. Yes, girl.
But let's get into it. To my brothers, a note penned by Renee and Courtney.
Absolutely. Yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
What's up, my dog? Back at it again to my brothers, man.
Bing bong.
Listen. Bing bong.
Okay. Do you want to go with your points first? So we each you have 4 points. No.
3.
Oh, I have 3 points too.
Yeah.
Do you want to go with?
I mean, there
first?
might come up, Sha. Yeah, I can kick it off.
Go ahead.
And just get some things off my chest. But we also want to stress that this is not one of those episodes where we're going to be out here bashing men. And
neither is this one of those channels.
I know that's right. Absolutely. We classy here. we classy. We wear, necklaces and earrings and stuff. We don't do that. It's late night, guys. It's another late night recording. But yeah, just to let you guys know, this is not us bashing men. This is not us speaking specifically and only about romantic relationships. Yes. This is us talking about a wide variety of things, and this is really about encouraging and actually trying to support the development and growth of men as well as women. So just to put that down now, but that doesn't mean we're also not going to pull you up on your tomfoolery, because that is coming.
The thing is, though, it's just like we are online sisters, right? If you've never met us before, and we jump in women's business all the time and talk about personal development and personal growth, and we are not ignorant to the fact that women cannot navigate in this earth with the absence of men. So we are going to talk to you from a sister's perspective. We're not talking to you from an ex-girlfriend perspective. We're not talking to you from a life coach perspective. We're talking to you from a sister perspective. And a sister, like you said, is going to pull you up on your ish, but also a sister is going to fight for you to be better. So this is not a place for gender wars.
No.
That's not what it is. And if that's what you want, go to somebody else's page. I can put a link in the description. But right here, we're about reparation, baby. We're about restoration. We're about health, all right? And we're about unity and oneness.
We have purpose here.
So if you're a divisive spirit,
get out. Pack it up. So the first thing I want to address is this notion of possessions before character.
Come on.
I am tired. Boys, guys, man, them brothers, I am tired of seeing content, seeing conversation, seeing every seminal piece on masculinity revolve around possession. And I know that, capitalism, patriarchy, I know all of these things interact to create this whole idea that masculinity rests entirely on what you can provide and, what you can get and buy and what you can show off and flexing on people that don't even care or like you. I know that's what masculinity has been for thousands of years in so many different cultures, but predominantly in Western cultures. But men, I need you to focus on character before possessions, because character precedes possessions. There are certain possessions that are escaping you because your character stinks. Or you just have not done the necessary work to develop aspects of your character to maintain these healthy things, right? How many times do we hear all of these stories about, fraudsters or getting involved in illegal activities to keep up with the pressures of trying to be the provider? And I get it. Lifestyles. I get it. You do want to be the provider. You do want to be the person that gets gal. We know.
We get it.
We get it. We get it.
Yeah.
But gal aside, okay? Women aside, right? For yourself, focus on your character.
And the approval of men.
The approval of men.
Y'all ain't just doing it for us.
And they will pretend and say it's these women.
It's your boys. It's your boys. It's the lifestyle. It's social media. And we get the pressure. We won't fully understand it because we're not men. But we get it. There's pressure there.
Flex, everyday flex. Look at my watch, flex.
Yeah,
my
rap
shoe
culture, all of it.
Balenciaga, because you have red.
Doing up.
Dude,
We're putting up our feet, but
Dude,
we're not wearing shoes. So
yeah, bro, I was about to say my
there's
knees
already
are a bit
enough reason
ashy.
for people to be conflicted in the comments, and the last thing we
My
need is
knees
your
are a
knees
little
are
bit-
ashy.
Oh, girl, put that down. Y'all should have
It's
edited
been
that
a
out.
long day.
It's been a very long day, and it's about to be a long podcast. So I hope you're sitting down very, very well for this one. But man, then please focus on your character.
Yeah.
Focus on the intangible elements of yourself that manifest the tangible. So if you are trying to get your money up, obviously focus on getting your money up, but be the kind of person that then sustains that money. If you're focusing on, you know, I want to find a life partner that, and let's even address that for a second, because some of you man them are so focused on the possession, you don't understand that these possessions also have social consequences, right? You're surprised that you know, you desire all of these different things, these images of like rappers that have, you know, lots of things and chains and all that kind of stuff, or, you know, the hottest bank or the hottest guy in tech and stuff. And you desire the lifestyle that comes with it, the access to women, right? The access to, I don't even want to say women. I want to say the access to this objectified notion of women.
Yes.
Because it's not even women that you're looking for. You're looking for the validation. You're looking for the sex. You're looking for the, you know,
esteem.
The esteem. And yet there's still a part of you that actively like finds these things repulsive.
Yeah.
Do you know how many guys that I've engaged with that will, you know, work their way to the top of whatever food chain and look around and they're just like, well,
is this it?
Is this it?
Yeah.
Ghetto up here.
Yeah.
And you find yourself indulging in things that are so, so empty. And you're wondering, how come I'm not, you know, attracting X kind of girl or these kind of opportunities and whatnot? It's because you've been focusing on the possessions and not the character. You see, possessions will bring in a certain kind of person and character will draw in a certain type of person. If you focus on the possessions, why are you surprised when you start, you know, bringing in, gold diggers, you start bringing in fraud boys, you start bringing in people that care about you because of what you can provide for them. So don't fall into this trap of reinforcing that masculinity is solely based on provision. It's more than that. It's character. Character precedes provision.
And possessions.
Character precedes possessions. Work on it. What kind of person, what kind of man art thou?
Come on.
Right? There was this poem, The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner in English. Listen, if y'all heard the last episode, we talked about, you know, our English teacher. There was this poem, it's still one of my favorite poems by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. And it's a great poem. Just listen to it. It's really spooky. But the wedding guest is coming into the party and the Ancient Mariner stops him. And one of the questions that he asks him is, what manner of man art thou? And he's like, what the hell are you talking about, man? I'm coming to party. Mandem, from a sister to a brother, what manner of man are you?
Come on.
Not what do you have?
No.
What manner of man are you? Are you a man of integrity? Are you a man of intention? Because some of you are moving mad because you have no intentions for your life. Are you a man of purpose? Like, what kind of man are you? How do you describe yourself beyond your possessions? You need to figure that out.
Yes. I love that. No, literally.
Figure it out.
I was literally just talking about this in a chit chat Get Ready With Me that I uploaded. By the time you're watching this, I uploaded it yesterday. And I was saying how just because maybe this is what everyone is doing and this is what the culture is, you need to remember that your integrity is a legacy.
Come on.
Your name and the person that people not just perceive you to be and the acclaim they give you, but who you actually think you are, whether you are proud of yourself, whether you believe that your actions actually reflect well or poorly on you, whether you can go to sleep at night and be proud of yourself, not just in what, like you said, in what you have, but in what you have done. Just because you can do things behind closed doors doesn't mean you should. Integrity is, what do you do when nobody is looking, right? Are you satisfied with that? Does it reflect your values and your morality well? A lot of men, because sometimes society puts the I don't know if it's because society has put the standard for men in hell that you guys don't live up to what you could actually fully be, an integral man. Not just a man with many possessions, not just a man with many women, not just a man who has done bits in his career, but actually a man who you can be proud of. That's all. Integrity is a legacy. It speaks of you, your future, and your children's future. If you're not careful, you're going to scatter the promise for you and generations to come because of short-term fun. And the world promises short-term fun, but I think they market it most to men. They market the world of cars, women, sex, alcohol, drugs, gambling. All these things are being thrown, pornography, all these things are being thrown into the eyes of men. And yes, it's there for women too, but this is a podcast called To My Brothers, so we're not going to add that context every time. It's thrown at men constantly, right? That's the fast life. And those are things which jeopardize your integrity. They're traps, big traps. And so please, the character work and the character development is not something, even though oftentimes it's marketed to women because we're more profitable for that industry, it is not exclusively done and needed by women. Men, you need it too. Please work on your character. Please prioritize your character, your integrity, your soul.
Boy. Hey, there's actually too much to talk about even on that one. In terms of instant gratification, particularly for men, pornography.
Please research into To my brothers, please research into the harmful nature of pornography and excessive pornography consumption and pornography addiction.
Yep.
The way it's warping our view of relationships, of the female body, and I say our because it's doing it for women too, but our perceptions of the female body, the perceptions we have of sex, and more importantly, our perceptions of power, we need to be careful. It is literally killing brain cells.
Oh, absolutely killing brain cells. But just even this whole idea of instant gratification, because of the high desire for possessions, so many men are trapped into doing quick things to get possessions. How many men do we know that are falling into criminal behavior? When we look at incarceration rates for men from particular communities as well, incarceration rates are high. High.
Yeah.
Okay, when we think about things like violent crimes as well, majority of them are perpetrated by men. And this is not to say that this is pathological. We're not saying that, men are by de facto violent.
100%.
But there is something to be said about the fact that the majority of violent crimes committed are by men. Gratification.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah.
Possessions.
Yes.
We need to guard, as I was about to say, as men, as people.
As people.
All right, my boy. Okay.
You need to leave that thing in the intro.
There's going to be some guys who are listening to this like, all right, stop. We get it, my boy. But guys, we need to guard what we are consuming in the name of acquiring possessions quickly. What are you consuming?
Yeah.
What is feeding into your character?
Yeah. Oh, and that even, please guard your circle. This is not one of our points. Guard your circle. Guard your circle. Actually, it was one of my points. Go on.
We finna come back.
We finna circle back.
It's gonna be 360 up here.
Yeah.
But really, really consider the things that you are consuming. What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Why are you listening to them?
Yeah.
How does this feed into your character, not your acquisition of possessions? That's the question you need to ask. But I'm gonna leave that one there.
I feel like it.
I've been beating it up.
How fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Excellent to open up on. And I think following off the back of that,
come on,
I've got my points written down.
Come on. Oh, she said
Number
I'm
one.
bringing mail today.
Number one.
Come on.
To my brothers, you too also need accountability and community.
Oh boy.
I know you can do bad all by yourself.
Come on.
You're independent.
Come on.
You're the leader of the pack.
That's
You're an
it.
alpha male. You're an alpha male.
How do you mute words in life? How do you mute? I don't want to hear alpha, sigma, beta.
Beta.
If it's not, in mathematics, okay?
We don't want it.
Or in Twilight, where we're talking about werewolves.
There we go. And this is the thing. It's that pack mentality, right? Who's going to be the alpha? The alpha still doesn't roam alone. The alpha still has a pack. You need a circle. Please, you need a circle. Yep. I'm sick of men who are doing extremely well, who have gotten themselves far. And I don't know if it's because a lot of us didn't grow up with our dads in the home. A lot of us didn't grow with respectable male figures in our lives, right? Because some of us had men. Were all of them respectable?
I can't
We
plead my
don't
case,
know.
Your Honor.
We don't know. So it could be because a lot of us didn't grow up with those figures in and around us,
Yeah.
that we think, I basically raised myself,
Yeah,
right? Or
yeah,
I was
yeah.
raised predominantly by women. So getting male accountability, getting male community, I don't need it because I've made it this far without it. I don't know the psyche of men on that. However, what I will say is that you need to surround yourself with men who understand your experience and who understand your perspective. And we often say this, right?
Yeah.
Men talk to men. You can talk on women's issues, but predominantly direct your attention to men. It's very, why? Because you understand that experience, right? There are things unique to the female experience that men don't understand. So when men have got all this content catered to women, it's very suspicious and it's also very predatory. And I would argue the same thing in the areas of women. However, a lot of women have had to take up the false responsibility. A lot of our mothers, our aunties, our grandmothers, the false responsibility of fathering us because of absent fathers, right? And shout out to all the present fathers in people's lives who are doing that work to be an example. And so I think it's interesting when men don't have, or I think it's disappointing when men don't have male accountability around them or any accountability around them. The most dangerous thing I think a man can say is, I answer to nobody. I know some of you, even believers, right? People who are of a particular religion.
Yeah.
Christian, Muslim, whatever. I answer to God. Even God gives you people for a reason.
100%.
You need someone to answer to. You
100%.
need somebody to mentor you. You need somebody to guide you. You need somebody to correct you.
Correct.
Why? For the safety of your future. You need a brotherhood.
And you need brothers to say, oh, Courtney, thank you. No. The work you're doing is important. Let me just tell you, the work you're doing is important. And we're not talking about just having pals to go and do things with, experiences, your dogs that you go paintballing with, or go clubbing with. We're talking about men that you can sit down with and have genuine conversations about things that you're struggling with.
Yes.
Okay. People that can tell you the truth. All right. Because I am tired of this whole coalescing here today to hold women to account. But you, my brother, has your brother held you to account today?
Has he given you that same smoke?
But you're coming.
Because that ain't as viral.
Tap on the internet. But bro, dog, my boy. Okay. Go on. I'm gonna get so roasted by all of the man. All my male friends are gonna be like, "Don't do this."
I like it when she does that.
Helen 453, she's great. But you genuinely need men in your circle, and this is why the point on like character before possessions is important, because when you focus on improving your character, then it becomes very easy for you to make distinctions between the folks that are focusing on possession and the folks that are focusing on likeness attracts likeness.
Come on.
Okay, so if you're wondering and looking around and saying, oh man, I don't have that in my circle, stop looking around. You need to look in the mirror. Stop looking around, because lots of us do this thing where we're like, oh, I'm not getting what I need. I feel like nobody is satisfying my needs. Everybody is around me is just toxic. Are you sure you're not the core?
Yeah.
Like when I think of like an apple, when an apple rots, it rots from the inside out.
Yes.
You're looking at the outside characteristics, not realizing that the real rotten core started with you. Okay.
On the inside.
So if you're looking around at your boys right now and thinking, "Rah, we have work to do," well, you better get started.
You better get
because you need to
started.
and it's not even just a thing of like developing yourself, but also thinking about relations between like men and women. For example, how many times we have had accounts of folks who have been experiencing things like sexual assault or been experiencing things like misogyny and all that kind of stuff. We also need good men to stand up and hold their brothers to account in these situations.
Please. Okay,
we need good men. You can't sit and be silent anymore. All.
This work is not one-sided. Women can't do all of the work to make society better. Society is repaired by everyone giving a good effort. And what I was going to say on that, what you were talking about, the linking it to the possessions versus character argument, it's very easy to get male accountability which holds you to these toxic masculine standards.
Yep.
And like, hear me out when I say this. There are a lot of channels who masculinity and masculinity content and masculine male accountability is how much money do you have? How many girls you got? How many cars you have? Do you look like nice? Don't you look nice? And this is not bad. I love all that level up content and all of that. I love it. Cool. Love that for you. Get your bread up. But it's important for you to have accountability, A, in real life, because they understand your real life situation.
Oh, boy.
And B, men who hold you accountable, not just to what a man should be, but who you were created to be. You are unique. You have a unique set of circumstances and you have a unique calling on your life. You actually matter to this earth and you have something here that you are meant to do in your lifetime. You need people around you who understand that, who understand what you need and what you don't need, and understand what the vision for your life actually is. Because your vision for your life may also be connected to a whole bunch of other people's, including your kids, including your whatever spouse you get in the future.
Absolutely.
Whatever a company that you're going to be a part of, whatever business you might start, whatever a mission you might go on, people are connected to that. It's unique though. Videos are great supplemental resources, but they cannot be your main food. 100%. They cannot be your main sustenance. You need people in your life who understand you, your personal struggles, who can G-check whether you're actually implementing the things that you've already learned. Because there's a lot of things out there telling men to be this. Men are that. Men should be leaders. Men should be, you should be this dominant. You should speak like this. You should go here. You should make this much money. But what about the pressures you're encountering? And what about the things that those things are birthing in you? Because sometimes they're not good, right? Sometimes you going and, like you said, chasing that 6 figures is birthing something bad in you. It might not be that you shouldn't get the 6 figures, but let's address this character issue. Let's address this poverty mindset. Let's address the fact that you have no money management skills. Let's address that, because that's your specific and unique need based on what it is you have been through, what you did and did not have. People on the internet can't give you that on time. Ooh. You need people who can give it to you on time, because there are moments of crisis where if bad decisions are made, your whole life's trajectory skewed. So get real life accountability, get real life community, and stop with this mindset of I'm the alpha. No one can G-check me. Let the ego and the pride go, because you know one thing that is hard to soar through? Pride. One thing that is hard to let go of, pride. I'm not saying it because it's easy. I'm saying it because it's necessary. The survival of your friendships, the survival of your relationships, the thriving of your future family, the thriving of your current family, the thriving of your existing family depends on you letting go of the pride thing.
At the door. Let it go.
This is not saying don't have shame.
Oh, honey, we'll get on to that one, because some of y'all
need a little bit of just a little bit of reservation.
Y'all need a lot of shame.
It's saying let go of the toxic ego and the toxic pride. Like, kill it. Toxic masculinity is killing the people.
That's excellent. That's actually phenomenal.
Yeah, man. What you got for me?
I was about to say, girl, because that's a natural segue into the next one we're going to pull up on, y'all. We're going to drop up in the 7-seater.
We watch too much American
We watch
content.
too many.
We are rinsed.
Hey, we need to do something, a different accent or something like that.
Nothing makes me feel as good.
Okay. The Brits. Cool, blimey. Let's have it.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's have it. All right, let's get on to the next one. All right. Crikey. All right.
You know what? I always want to say, crikey, what a cool blimey.
What a cool blimey.
Shout out
but
to
do you know that core blimey
yeah.
is shorthand for God
blind me. And every time, anyway, I protect myself in the morning. God mercy.
Mercy, please. But it's a really sweet segue into my next point, which is focus on cultivating the softness alongside the hardness. Some of you guys are so hard. You got calluses on your forehead.
Oh, and some of you need to scrub your feet. That's another point. I know you like these nails and you like us looking cute. You know what? We like a smooth man too. Go and buy a pumice stone and scrub your foot back. Please go to the nail shop. Pedicure is what, ask them. Either play this soundbite in their ear if you're struggling to remember the name. Tell them, sir, excuse me, they would like, this man, my brother, would like a pedicure, please. Maybe throw in a manicure. If you can look at the state of his cuticles, let me know if he needs a manicure. He's got to pay for it. There you go.
Oh, not a stone.
You need a pumice stone.
Don't kill me.
Some of you need to buy actual scrub.
They got them footballers' feet. They be out here wearing socks in the
Don't
beds.
tell me about footballers' feet without a footballer's check. Go and buy a pumice stone.
Don't. Courtney, the podcast intro. We've actually said...
I'm sick of it. Have you
Well-
seen the feet of some men? Shout out to the men who go to the nail
Yeah,
shop
they
with
are.
their-
No,
like not even with
quite a few.
anyone, who just take themselves to get themselves.
This is why
freshened
we
up.
need to, what do you call it? Disestablish the
Just
toxic
do
masculine
you get what I mean?
physical complex.
Destigmatize all of
because
that, because
some of y'all flaky. You know when it's rubbing. It's rubbing
I
against
can
you.
feel the friction. I can feel the heat. I'm you thinking, what animal?
Damn, you
what
little dragon.
monster climbed into the sheets.
Did you ever watch American's Dragon? American Dragon.
Sorry, man. Since you guys are here, we have to clown you small.
American Dragon. Okay, we're back. We are taught that men are meant to be hard. We are taught that men are meant to be, leaders, dominators. They're meant to be in power. And we do all of this, men are hard at the expense of other things that are actually necessary for you to function well.
Yeah.
Not just in like society, but actually cognitive. And that's thinking about things like emotional intelligence, right? We always leave it to the ladies. And then when you, as a man, shut off your emotions or don't take the time out to actually understand or process your emotions, why do you think you keep on getting into toxic relationships? Why do you think that you keep on having commitment issues? Why do you think that you keep on abdicating from positions of leadership eventually? It's because you haven't taken the time out to ride the wave or the storm that's building beneath the surface, because you believe that men are hard and not soft.
Yeah.
So the moment that any kind of opportunity to be soft arises, you shut down,
Yeah.
hoping that somebody will bring the key to unlock your soft side.
Yeah.
Do I look like your therapist? Do I look like her? No, I don't, because you don't have one. You don't even know what one looks like.
Girl, you etched it into my next point. Should I just put it here before you continue? Point number 2 from Courtney. You need therapy too. Go and see a therapist. Destigmatize that idea you have of talking to someone who can help you professionally. Because also a lot of men, I say a lot, but it's a generalization, but there are men who are not getting diagnosed for actual clinical psychological issues because they don't want to go to. Now, firstly, let me actually add context to this. A lot of public health systems are not very good to men.
Yes, this is true. No,
And
you are
men's
completely
actual
right.
health, right? A lot of people end up sectioned, hospitalized, arrested when they go and ask for help.
Yeah.
So I am aware of those wider social issues. However, it is important for you to find a place where you can actually address, if necessary, in a professional manner, your mental health struggles, right? Because things like being bipolar, what is it?
BPD.
BPD, borderline personality disorder, paranoia, schizophrenia, all of these other mental health issues which actually exist, OCD, like all these things, post-traumatic stress disorder. Don't just assume that you are angry, you're this, you're that, or you're getting all these flashbacks or whatever. I don't really know the like in and outs of it yet. However, I think it's important for us to really emphasize for our brothers too, because I think women are more open to this because we love talking, blah, blah, blah. But men, you need to open up to someone too, and sometimes that is a professional. So we do actually have a link to BetterHelp. I plug it every episode. Don't think just because you're here, but at the same time, if you do want to sign up for accessible and affordable online therapy, sign up via our BetterHelp link to get 10% off your first month, and just try it out, bro. Like, just try it out for 1 month, see if you like it. It's secure, it's easy, it's simple, and just see what you uncover.
100%, man. It's important. Emotional intelligence, taking care of your mental health. These are things that we classify as soft and classify as feminine, but you really do need synergy in these areas because it's the balance that is necessary for you to function. Balance is necessary. You are not hard. You were not created to simply be a rock. Okay. You were created to be human.
Yeah.
You're a human being.
Yes.
And I just shout out to, you know, the guys that are holding it down and holding it together. You know, the fathers that are out here grinding to, you know, put food on the table. We shout out to the brothers who are really doing the deep work and all of that.
It comes at a cost sometimes.
It does. It really, really does. But for the sake of your families, for the sake of your friends, for the sake of your future generations, you need to do that work of unpacking the emotional dirt that you might have.
Yeah.
Okay. Like we've touched on it in multiple episodes when we were really, you know, breaking down the family structure. Yeah. But, you know, there is eldest daughter syndrome, but also eldest son syndrome. Yeah. There is, you know, daddy issues for men, right? Mommy issues for men, you know, and then also other things that we don't necessarily talk about because they're less prominent in the media. So when we're thinking about early sexual encounters for men as well, right?
Go there.
The fact that we don't really talk or think of women as predators, but there are a lot of men who have been, you know, over sexualized at very, very young ages because of their engagements with women at that time, right? And we've already spoken about pornography as well, but also the emotional repercussions of being exposed to sex and porn and all of these kind of, and not just any type of sex and porn, but also very violent stuff at very, very young ages is really important. Or abuse statistics as well for men, thinking about like the fact that men, of course, are abused when they're younger or they're exposed to things like drugs or, you know.
Or even are victims of domestic abuse. Things like that. It can seem embarrassing and something I shouldn't complain about. Men who are like you said, sexually assaulted or molested. And I think another thing that men often encounter and girls encounter it too, especially depending on the community, like it happens in various levels according to communities, but boys, especially adolescent boys, the adultification and the resulting manipulation and abuse can be damaging, very life-shattering.
Forced to grow up so young,
so quick, and it's seen as, well, you should be grateful for that, or damn, you had that experience. It robbed your childhood.
It's crazy because it feels like it exists on a spectrum, right? You have like the man them that are seen as like you've been a man from you were 3 and you were a man. Do you know what I mean? And then you have the infantilization of men as well, okay? Because we're coming for you too. For the folks that have been holding it down as a man and having to be, you know, man of the household in light of the fact that, you know, somebody else abdicated from their position, or the fact that, you know, you have to be out here on street corners doing X, Y, Z to make it happen, right? There's those kind of guys. But then there's the other side of guys who have been, everything has been handed to them on a plate. They never really feel as though they can move on and take real like control over their lives because they have been infantilized by a lot of the women that they've actually come across with in life.
And even the men.
And it's important that in order to address these things, you do this in a holistic manner that encapsulates both the soft and the hard.
I love that.
Wow. We going in today.
We are going in. I like this. This feels like soul surgery.
It is.
I like that for us. I think we're at my last point because I said the therapy one. Hear ye. Now. So you may be thinking...
I'm ringing the bell.
Ladies and gentlemen of the ton. Okay. Like you were just saying, it's important to embrace the hard and the soft. I often find that when men hear women having these conversations and addressing men issues, they're always like, you see, like women say this stuff, but they don't actually want this stuff. They want a man's man, right? There's something that I've learned through my life. And I think it would be handy for us all to know it, which is that, what is it? Because I wrote it down so perfectly and I actually want to read it, right? Submission is a response to being loved well. It's your responsibility to love well. You should also demand to be loved well. because leadership in any form is a burden. I want you to understand, a lot of men are upset with women because women are too masculine now. Is it because, like you rightly just said, a lot of the leadership positions which men were supposed to uphold for the betterment of society, for the betterment of the household, were abdicated by men. You cannot continue to blame women for taking up space in a vacuum. Number two, a lot of men are upset with women. Women don't like to submit. They don't love like our grandmothers used to love. They don't love like my mum used to love. A lot of women have realized for themselves, they ain't got to take your rubbish no more.
Oh.
They don't have to take crap anymore, right? They got their own money, but they still want homes. They still want relationship. They still want healthy and loving partners, right? It's not that they don't want to love you, and it's not that they don't want to submit. It's that they will not submit to bad leadership.
Come on.
They will not submit to harmful leadership. A lot of women have done the personal work and the growth and the development and are saying, I will not then subject myself to somebody who will kick that life and that light out of me. It's the same thing for you, bro. You can demand to be loved well. In order for you to lead well, you have to be loved well. But in order for people to follow your leadership, you have to love well. You need to do the work, whether that's going to therapy, whether that's having just sit downs with people in your community and the people who hold you accountable and the people who you trust, and just saying, help me get better, or this is where I'm struggling. This is where I'm struggling to forgive. This is where I'm struggling to do X, Y, Z. This is where I'm struggling to discipline my body and stop masturbating. This is where I'm struggling, right? Help me. If you can't let other people love you, you're not going to love well. You need to allow yourself to be loved, bro. You need to allow yourself to let people in on what's going on with you. You need to allow yourself to also remember that leadership, the responsibility and the machoism that comes with masculinity that you're trying to get to is responsibility. Responsibility is a burden. So whilst you may be out here saying women need to do this, then men will act right. That's not how it's going to be. If you want a woman to fix everything, you can't then ask her to get second in line. Ooh. Very few, maybe modern, educated and all of that women, and this is quite Western, are going to submit to a man just because he makes money and he works. Yeah. I make money and I work.
So what now?
Now what? These kids belong to both of us.
And instead of you to focus on getting yourself up, you're here pathologizing the modern woman as the issue.
Do you get what I mean? And this is the thing. If men want to be leaders, take the responsibility of reparation onto your back. Take the responsibility of repairing a generation onto your back. Do you understand? Take the responsibility of loving onto your back. Do you get what I mean? Because it's hard. It's not hard. It's rude. And it's stupid almost to ask women to submit to people who are actually, you're not worth submitting to. Sorry. I don't want to disrespect you in your own headphones, but it's the truth. And you can't force a woman into submission. Unless you want to beat her, that's a crime. You can be prosecuted.
And we'll call the police for you.
We will. 100%. Do you get what I mean? Like, you can't force a woman into submission, nor can you. Sorry, there's another point that I wanted to bring in. I don't know if it's related to this. Leave the idea that emotions are just women's thing, a woman's thing. Women are not the only emotional one. Women are so emotional. You guys are emotional too. And unfortunately, a big way we often see men's emotions manifest because they haven't processed through them well is anger and violence. Do you get what I mean? And that anger and that violence and that miscommunication and the words, and please don't see this as we, like you said, making men sound animalistic and they're just disproportionately more violent. Absolutely not. This is like, it could be an issue for just a small minority of men globally, but I think it's important for us to emphasize that you cannot force a woman into submission, and you cannot abuse your power, whether that is your physical strength, your finances, whatever it may be, whatever resources are at your play, to force her into that submission. Submission is a result of being loved well. To love somebody, you need to first know that you are loved. You need to go and find love somewhere and demand to be loved well by the people who hold you accountable, by the people who are your parents, by the people who are your mentors, by the people whoever you are seeking love and care from. Know what your love language is. Know what you actually need out of this and demand for that to be met. And also, even from your partner, this is what I like. But communicate it. Don't assume she just knows. Right. But let her know, this is what I like. And I want to be loved this way. Do you know how many girls will be turned on by that?
Bro.
He knows what he wants. And he wants to make this work. Intentional. So make sure that you are loved well, but understand that to love somebody is a burden.
It is.
To love somebody and to be a true leader. If you're asking for submission, you need to be a true leader. You need to be a visionary. You need to be somebody on a mission. Some of y'all ain't got nothing that you're doing with your time. You need to be on a mission. You need to understand what it means, and you need to actually keep people safe. Why are you laughing? I'm trying to wrap this up.
That's when you said they ain't got nothing.
You ain't got nothing you trying to do. But also, and this is not to dig at you, but it's also just worthwhile saying relationships aren't everything. Sometimes work on yourself.
Bruh.
Sometimes just work on yourself.
Catching girl. Oh, fam. I wanted to just do one more point, but there might be an extra one after that.
Okay.
But yeah, nah, Courtney. How do I give you championship belt for this one? Oh my God.
I hope I explained it well though. I kind of feel like I didn't hit on like the nail on the head of where I wanted to, but yeah, basically, yeah.
I know you hit the nail on somebody's head. Somebody listening said my head's frazzled. My head's frazzled. I love everything that you said. In fact, the whole submission complex, man, guys, I stop it, because some of you are even demanding what you think is submission from women that you have no intention with. You know, you have no intention with them. Submission is for those who have intent. You don't have that. Stop fooling. Do this tomfoolery. Didn't we tell you we're going to come talk about your tomfoolery today? Stop dealing with women that you have no intent with.
Come on.
Stop it.
Come on.
Okay? You're expecting her to, and this whole idea of submission, folks will think that submission looks like you wearing pretty dresses and you cooking for them.
And you doing yes, sir, no, sir.
Me just signing away my whole life.
Yes, sir, please, sir.
Okay. And it's fine to say that these are things that you like, right? You like when, you know, your partner cooks for you, or you like when, you know, your partner XYZ. But then don't now come and shame women when women now say, okay, I'm happy to do these things for you, but I would like you to uphold, because relationships are a two-way street.
100%.
Okay, it's not a hill. You're not at the top of the hill and she's at the bottom. This is a street that's level. And I love what you said about submission being a response to being loved well. If you love me well, why would I not submit? Anything you want, baby.
Say it again.
Anything you want.
And this is the major key. Guys. For some women, they will happily do whatever you want, right? As long as they feel safe.
100%.
As long as they feel like
100%.
You care about me and I know you love me.
Express your intent.
About your expression. You express, not just verbally, because stop lying with your mouth. Just point blank
your
period.
Teeth.
Ain't no fancy way to put this. You're lying to your teeth. Stop that. Not just through what you say, but by what you do. Not just to me, not just for me, but the way you live your life tells me you love me. The way you act around other people tells me you love me. The way you think about your future tells me you love me. A woman who feels loved and who feels safe, she'll do whatever you want.
6 a.m. in the morning, she'd be frying some eggs.
He needs lunch because he's going out there to get the bacon for us. Show me that you love me. Show me that actually we are in a keyword partnership. Because a lot of you think that submission means having a slave. That ain't what it is. No, this ain't Jim Crow. You need to really realize for yourself, submission doesn't mean you have a slave or a doormat. Submission means you have somebody to take care of now. Submission means you have somebody to lead now. Submission means you got to have a bigger vision and bigger mission than she do, right? And a lot of men, please stop this thing of trying to make women small so that they can fit into your mission, because that's the one you want. No.
The complaints around, the complaints around educated women. Well, how about you address education levels in your community?
Why? Anyway,
the complaints around how much women are earning and, you know, you should just settle for the average man. Well, how about you focus on creating programs that, you know, solidify financial education? Since all of you guys are part of Shiny Suit Twitter anyways. Why don't you knowledge? Since you've been wearing turtlenecks, I've seen them. Okay, you've been wearing loafers with no socks and the camel jacket with the circle lenses. Since you are so savvy, how about we focus on a community effort of focus on your brothers, bring them up.
Yeah.
Because it's not, the problem isn't that women are trying to outpace you. The problem is y'all need to keep pace.
Keep pace.
Y'all need to keep pace. Okay. How about we address the incarceration rates?
Yeah.
Okay. How about we address, you know, financial what's the word?
Literacy.
How about we... It's late. How about we address financial literacy?
Yeah.
And all kinds of literacy.
Yeah. And all the systemic issues we just talked about.
There we go.
And it's important to realize that this isn't just a fight for y'all, but like I said, men talk about men's business more than you talk about women's business. Okay? It's so
That's my last
silly.
point. That's my last point.
It's so silly to tell women to bring themselves lower. If the bar is being pushed higher for the sake of our actual communities, it's great. It's great that the threshold of household income is being pushed higher. It's great that the threshold of how educated do we get in this family? How educated do we become? How much money do we end up making? How healed are we? The threshold is going higher. That's great. Why would you then want to pull the bar lower so you, with your broke, and lack of purpose self, can feel good about yourself?
Baby, bro, look me in the eye when I'm talking to you about this point. This point in particular, look me in my eye. This is the last point. Stay out of women's business. The women's business that does not concern you. And I'm going to combine it with another point. Stop chasing gal. Plural.
Damn, but the girls want to be pursued.
Gal. Plural. Okay? You know that song, Gallus?
Yeah.
I'm a Gallus. Stop that rubbish. Okay? Let me deal with the women's business first. Okay? I'm glad that you brought it up naturally, that it came. I am tired. I don't want to see it on my TL. I don't want to see it on anything I open in life. I am sick to death of opening up my laptop or electronic device and seeing men gathered talking about women and women's low standards, or the fact that they don't like this about women, or they don't like that about women, or we need to hold women to account for the fact that they're not great, you know, relational partners. Stop it.
Or women have no value.
Women have no value, and talking about women and their incapacity to fulfill your romantic and sexual desires. Do you not have anything else to do? I am tired. Why does every conversation, when we're talking about women from men's perspective online, revolve around silly things? No. Just deep it. Would you date a babe if her body count was... I'm out. Imagine if your girl was... First of all, you don't have a girl.
And it's not your girl to be caring about.
Is it bad to have a preference? Listen here. Didn't I say look me in my eye? We're done with that.
Yeah.
Okay? Stop being in women's business that does not concern you. Stop having women in your mouth if it's not a productive conversation. Keyword, productive. Again, it comes back to that point about the content you consume.
Yeah.
Is the content you consume destroying your conception of women and relations with women? Yeah. Or is it helping to heal you?
Yeah.
If it's the former, my bro, you need to put that one down.
Yeah.
Okay? Is it just validating every misogynistic and angry projection or internalized rage that you have? Mm-hmm. You need to put it down. Mm-hmm. It might even come as something that's funny. It's like, oh yeah, jokes, ha ha ha, banter, women. It's often in humor that the most trauma is unveiled. Yeah. Okay, you need to guard that carefully, because what you consume, you become. It's not just the same for food; it's the same for the social medias and the internet. Yeah. What you consume, you become. Yeah. Watch your tongue. Watch your eyes. What are you consuming? Stop being in women's business that does not concern you. Okay, this is like these are the legacies that you're leaving behind. Okay, and just because you think that you're some way removed from it because I don't have these conversations because my female friends are different, or my girlfriend is different, like my sister's not like that, my mom is da. That's not the point.
Yeah. Listen, such a good point. People talk about other people's business all the time. It's your social media, it's your conversation, it's your kitchen table. You say what you want to say. However, it's important to remember, I had a point in my head just now, it will not escape me. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with what other women do. You don't have to agree with the opinions women have. You don't have to agree with the lifestyle women live, or a certain woman lives, right? I want you to think about the dangers, though, of you spewing your opinion or your disagreement in such a harmful way, or in a way that is so derogatory, right? It's like when people say, oh, women always want to hear something that's palatable to the ear. They never want to be corrected. They struggle to take the red pill. They struggle to take the red pill. That's not what it is. It's actually, let's just be honest, in a patriarchal society and in the majority of the world, men, you hold the most power. In most ways, right? Even the things that you joke about, and it's not to say don't have humor, but even the things that you joke about can lead to very dangerous outcomes for those who do not have that same level of power, right? And this isn't just women, but it's also the LGBTQIA plus community. Do you get what I mean? Like, people who aren't like you, because men often hold the same amount of power, or even different racial categories of men, they may be destroyed by the opinions of the men who hold the most power in society. So it's not saying don't have your humor. What it is saying is, so it's not saying don't have your disagreements and don't have your criticisms. You can have your own mind, you can have your own opinion, but it's think about, for the sake of for community, right? For the sake of social good, for the sake of the protection and the health and the safety of people, how am I going to express, or do I even need to express, my disagreement? Especially on the internet. Especially on the internet. Kitchen table talk is kitchen table talk. Your ignorance can be dealt with your family members. The issue isn't, and I'm not saying go and be an undercover misogynist, go and be an undercover homophobe. I'm saying think about what your comments on women who live a certain lifestyle that you don't agree with, what predicament it puts those, or what vulnerability rather, or exposure it puts those women who walk the street every day under. Right? What does it encourage other men to do? What does it encourage other women to do to them? Are they going to live a life that is dangerous, or where they are vulnerable? Do you get what I mean? Because of your opinions, right?
Your red pill.
The
truth.
Do you get what I mean? Because of your red pill, now women are getting acid thrown in their face. Because of your red pill, the one that you had to administer so badly, women are being sexually assaulted, or homosexual people, or transgendered women are being killed at disproportionate rates.
Pack it in. Step out. Just pack it in. That scroll.
Women who dressed with hijabs are having them pulled off. What? Because of opinion. I have opinion, it must be heard.
You just had to say it. I just had to the
freedom
truth.
of speech.
Just
think.
Just think. Don't speak. Just yet.
Just yet.
Process.
Just think. Process.
Do all of the steps that we gave you before this. Process. And then the last bonus point, at least for me, stop chasing girls. Stop it. Stop DMing like 10 girls in a group chat. It's embarrassing. Guys, come on, man. I believe in you. You can I know it's tough. I know some girls are stush. I know some of the sisters listening. And yeah, guys need to, the bar is in hell. They're not even like shooting their shot anymore. Guys, you would do so much better if you picked a handful of babes, and I mean handful, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 to go on dates with, as opposed to doing this mass serial dating escapades. Obviously it depends.
situation. Sneaky link.
Oh, we're just vibing.
And this goes for women too. Stop it.
Do I look like feng shui to you? We're just vibing.
Yin and yang.
Yin and yang. Yeah. Vibes. Oh, we're not really seeing each other. We're just vibing. You're not really seeing each other. You're sleeping together. She has your name tatted on the back of her ankle.
Some direction for your life.
Have some shape. This is where we're talking about have some shape. If you want a successful and positive relationship with a woman that is romantic, after you have done all of this work, be intentional in that courtship, in that dating, as you would with anything in your life. The way that you pursue, money and things and all that kind of stuff, pursue relationships. And not just with women, mind you, with your friends. Yeah. Have you pursued your male friends?
Yes.
Have you been out with your boys for lunch or something?
Yes. Do you know what they need?
Have you pursued your siblings? What's your relationship like with your sisters, your brothers, your mum, your dad? Stop chasing the wrong thing.
And we ain't just trying to protect the women. We're trying to protect you.
This is going to sound so weird to say to guys because we've so normalized saying it to men.
Do you know how...
women,
anyway, to women,
But men, you're precious too. You matter too.
Come on.
You are, beautiful. Oh, God, not me on the
No, you are.
Talking about men saying that you're gorgeous.
You're important.
But you're important. You are necessary. You are loved. And not because of the things that you do or provide, but simply by virtue of being. And you should guard your heart just as much as women guard their heart. You should be pursuing things and being ambitious and really going for the things that you believe that you've been called to, because you matter.
Yes.
You really should focus on healing and becoming whole, because there's a generation that's coming after you that depends and requires it. You matter too, and it's okay. Listen, bro, sometimes you're gonna cry.
Yeah.
It might not be in public just yet. We know you're not ready for that.
Yeah. And on behalf of maybe women who have crushed that in you, who have told you man up, and who have shamed you out of being the most vulnerable you could be when you needed it, we're sorry. We really are, because we are also perpetrators of toxic masculinity too, right? We have that internalized. So sorry. But we have come to the end of the road. If you want to keep up with more of what we do, what we produce, and what we are up to, follow us on Instagram at To My Sisterhood. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, or follow us and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen to podcasts, and give us a 5-star rating or 4 stars, anything 3 stars or less. Email us hello@twomysisters.com. We don't need the negativity in the airwaves. You guys know already say that. So follow us on Instagram at To My Sisterhood, and sign up to our mailing list at twomysisters.com to keep updated with everything we do, from the blog to the virtual digital toolkit that's coming out, to the events that we have, and also to the resources that we send straight to your inbox to help you glow and grow. There's a new episode every Sunday. And as always, keep glowing and growing.